Hey, Julie Roussel here. Hey, happy Halloween. Hey, welcome to Wacky Wednesday. You know, it's not always going to be Talking Tuesday, but hey, welcome. Wacky Wednesdays will be starting up normally next week. I had to move it to tonight because normally it's been Taco Tuesdays for a while, but I had to move it due to a volleyball tournament sectional semifinals last night. So I kind of couldn't get a signal there either. So I was totally into the game. I was that screaming parrot in the stands, you know, jumping, stomping. If you happen to see me waving a pom-pom, yeah, that was totally me. So hey, as always, thanks for joining in. I'm glad that you can make it to Wacky Wednesday. Whether you are popping live right now or you are catching on the replay, it's great to spend a few minutes of kitchen conversation with you. So as always, if you hear something that you find valuable or that resonates with you, leave me some love. You know, say hey, drop a comment anytime in the thread, share the video with anyone you think it might help, and PM me if you have questions or want to hear more. I'm always happy to share the things that I'm learning, and I hope that they help you. So hey, I see a few people joining in. Just usually my wireless is lagging, but hey, if I do miss you, I apologize. I will try to welcome you as soon as I see you pop in because I do peek at my notes, I'll admit it. I need those notes. But hey, and nice to see you, lady. It's been a while. I'm glad you could pop in live. Say hi to the fam for me. Hey, Autumn, nice to see you, lady. It's been a while since we caught each other. I'm glad you could make it. So that's all I see right now. It looks like everything else is frozen. So I apologize if I miss you when you pop in. But leave me a hey and we'll keep on going. So let me ask the question for the night. Yeah, okay, yeah, they are flashing. Can you see them? Well, there's a reason that I'm wearing them and I will explain, I promise. Because as always, I will be sharing a short story, what I learned and hopefully how it can help you. So what scared you the most when you were a child? Or maybe even as an adult? Hey girl, good to see you. So, and could you beat that fear? Or have you beaten it? And I know that sounds kind of silly, let me tell you, but do me a favor and just leave your thoughts in the thread anyways. You won't be the only one, trust me, because I'm going to tell you mine. So hopefully you feel comfortable enough to pop yours in too. Oh, cool, you do, great. Hello, Gail, it's so good to see you popping in live. Hey, say hi to the family for me. It's so good to see you. It's been a long time. Okay, so I'm gonna keep on moving, but let me ask the question. I did that, all right. So anyways, leave your thoughts and what your biggest fear was in the thread, and if you beat it. And could you beat it, or did you ever think that you could? And like I said, I missed the few that are joining in, so I apologize, but you know, leave me a hey now and then. Let me know you did. And you know, fear, for me, my biggest one as a child, it has something to do with the ears on my head. And the mirror, the window that's right there behind me. And I know that it's absolutely silly and irrational, but it's there anyways. So when I was younger, okay, yes, that was a very, very terrifying movie. Absolutely. Can't say I blame you, Autumn. And like I said, I was terrified of looking out the window at night. And it's nighttime right now. And what I would always be afraid of seeing scary faces, you know, plastered up against the window with some bloody weapon in their hand. And they were coming to get me. I mean, that was always the thing that just literally scared the bejesus out of me. And I would honestly avoid windows like this. If it was open, I was as far away from it as I possibly could get. So can you imagine? Yeah. And I would close the blinds. I would close, you know, any blinds, any drapes, anything to hide that, to cover it. And I was always worried, and I should say my fear worsened because I looked out the window one night and there was a deer a little farther off down in the yard, and I could see that their eyes had that reflective glow, and that literally scared me and intensified the fear, believe it or not. It's hard to see my notes tonight because of the backlight, so if I mess them, I apologize. trying to make sure I remember everything properly. And, at that point, when you have that fear, your heart is pounding and you want to hide under a rock, or in this case, under a blanket somewhere, with all the lights on in the room, away from the scary windows that people might be, peeking in. Your hands are shaking and your mouth is dry like the desert and you're sweating profusely. Kind of like right before a Facebook Live video. Maybe you feel like you want to throw up too. So this is fear. That's exactly what it is. It's a reaction to something that scares us, something that we're afraid of. And if we have that fear, we do anything to avoid it. Like I would avoid windows forever if I couldn't close the blinds or the drapes. And I kept wondering, could I beat this? Why not? And how do I do this? Because I was scared for the longest time and I never ever talked about it to anybody. Because, why would you tell someone you're afraid of something? You're also scared at the same time because you think they're going to make fun of you, and admitting that fear is going to make you weak. And, nobody wants people to think that we're, a little scaredy cat running around, right? With some lights on their head. And especially not on Facebook, because we don't talk about fears, or even in public with our friends, because, we think they're going to make fun of us at one point or another. So to beat that fear, for my end, which was beating the fear of going up to the window like this, right here, and just looking out the window where it was dark, it was the hardest thing for me. To not run over there and close the blinds all the way, make sure the drapes were covering, that you couldn't see out, that there was nobody out there. And I knew how silly this was. I knew it was absolutely the most irrational fear ever. Really, who's going to be peeking in my window? But what I would do is I would open those windows. I would flip on the lights outside and inside. And I literally would try to keep confronting that fear over and over again to prove to myself, look, there's nobody there. No one's going to be peeking in my window. And over, of just confronting that fear and telling yourself mentally that it's not real. There's nothing to be afraid of. Eventually you can talk yourself out of it with the right mindset, because you've pushed past it, because you've taken the power away from it. And the key was just, like I said, continually confronting it. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm totally fearless. Sometimes I do walk by a window and I do have that little thought of, oh gosh, how silly, maybe someone's peeking in. But I know that they're not. So I can easily dismiss it and say, oh gosh, just a silly fear. And I also find that having, fears or things that, scare you a little bit as an adult is completely normal too. But you also know that you have the ability to just overcome it and push past things that prevent you from living your life. And I found over and over again over the last couple years, it must be a continuously learn over and over again lesson, that I have the ability to push past it, and that's going to help me live my life to the fullest. And I don't allow that fear to rule my life like previously, whether I was hiding in the room over there with a blanket and the lights on and all the windows closed. Silly, I know. What was your biggest fear? But what I found is that I'm a lot happier. I'm more confident as a person, even though I still don't like the windows that much. They don't scare me like they used to. Does that ever happen to you? Or maybe for you it was a fear of a sport, whether it was losing the big match, making a mistake, or hitting the ball in the net on game point. Whether it was your job or your career, you're afraid that you can't handle the responsibilities. You're afraid that you couldn't be an effective leader, or maybe you were going to make some mistakes. and you worried what people were going to think of you every minute of the day. Or maybe you had to give a speech or a live video, maybe. Or maybe in your personal life when you were afraid to ask someone out for coffee or a get together with friends. It doesn't matter what it was, it's still fear. We're still afraid of it, and we still want to run away from it. And we want to avoid it as much as possible. And that fear prevents us from living our life. And I will say, and I'll admit it, I don't mind, that my fears were ruling my life. I was hiding in my house too much, hiding from the windows. And now I realize that those fears are beatable, that you don't have to give in to it. You don't have to give in to the fear all the time. So if you heard something that resonates with you, or maybe you've had a fear like that, hey Carla, I see a few more joining in. Hey, nice to see you. Looks it's on my mist, I apologize. It's wireless must be lagging tonight, but thanks for popping in. So if you heard something that resonates with you, please leave me some love, leave me a hey, or drop what scared you most in the comment thread. Share the video with anyone you think it might help, and PM me if you have questions or want to hear more about how you can beat your fears more often, so you don't have to give in and allow them to rule your life. So having the strength to admit your fears, whether it's in a live video, in public, or even just to yourself, it doesn't make you weak or silly or stupid. Or my biggest fear, lose my place in my notes and go totally blank, because yeah, it happens, kind of like the window. Hey lady, thanks for popping in. It's so good to see you. But what you find is that you can work past those fears. That you can convince yourself that you can beat that fear over and over again. And that you've definitely had the power to beat it all along. And you find that as you start overcoming that fear more and more, it builds your strength, it builds your confidence, as well as your own happiness and your success in life. So the next time when something scares you silly, like that window, or a job, or a sport, face it head on. Change your mindset just a little. Stand your ground and overcome it over and over. You'll find that your life is 100 times better if you don't allow the fear to paralyze you and prevent you from living your best life and your life to the fullest. Happy Halloween. I'll catch you later.